you know what, the help that you did, you know, I made $500K from doing this thing. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, so that took time. But the real work and what nobody talks about is you dialing for dollars, you reaching out to people, you doing content every day, right? Like you creating that schedule for yourself where you it's a grind. Like a lot of people don't understand this. It's a real grind to be an entrepreneur. Right? You gotta put in that work. And people wasn't put in that work, but you see pictures of them doing, you know, morning routine. That's cute, but morning routine don't bring you money. You know, it's good to do, create discipline, but you still gotta actually work.
Do the work.
You still gotta do the calls, do the meetings. You're gonna do meetings where you're gonna. I remember I have days where I have 10 meetings on my calendar, and 7 of them don't show up. But you gotta keep going. You know, you gotta keep going because that's part of the grind. You know, and you can't be like, oh my God, nobody wants my services. No, it's. You got to get more people to see it, right? I was doing webinars. I was doing workshops.
There you go.
I'll do webinars where I have 0 people showed up. And so what do you do? Like, you know, do you stop? No, you got to keep going. Like, I literally will record myself doing a webinar with nobody showing up. But what that did for me, it built that muscle. Where now I can literally do a webinar, nobody showed up, but then 2 weeks later I get invited at a conference in Toronto where there's 1,000 people.
And you ready?
I'm ready. Boom. Like I know the thing in and out because I've been practicing the reps when there was no one there. You know?
Absolutely. There you go. There you go. I hope you hearing that, right? Resilience. You gotta keep pushing. Persevering, no matter the circumstances, especially
by any means necessary.
Absolutely.
You know, like I had time where my accounts. I remember one time my accounts was negative 10,000. And right. And you're like, holy shit, what happened there? Well, I didn't know how to manage cash flow. That's something nobody talks about, right? You talk about the highs, but you talk about the lows. You know, what a lot of people would say, oh my God, I'm going bankrupt. I'm like, okay, I got to turn this around. So I had to learn how to manage cash flow. I had to read certain books. I had to go to accountants and learn from them. But at the same time, I had to still make sales calls and reaching out to people so I can get new clients. So I can get out of that
situation. Right. Exactly. Absolutely. What's some of the books you read in regards to being better at managing cash flow?
There's one book by Profit First. That was one of my favorite books. Profit First by Mike. I can't pronounce his last name properly, so I'm not going to butcher it. But you can just Google Profit First. That's one of the best books I read. And also, conversation with other entrepreneurs that have been through it. Like I joined a few masterminds. Even when I had no money, I did deals where I'm like, hey, I'll pay you a little bit up front. As my revenue grow up, I want to be able to pay for this membership. And people understood that, right? And that helps me get into Rome. I remember I got into a mastermind group where everybody in there was doing 6 figures. That was before I was doing 6 figures. There was one guy, he's a one-man show doing $500,000. Back then I was like, wow, that's a lot of money. But that exposure alone made me realize, oh, I can do that too. You know, so getting into these rooms, when they said get into the room, is having those type of conversation helps you position yourself better. And then you're able to learn, you're able to get inspired from them. And then now you can be able to invest to get in bigger rooms. Like where I got to a point where I got into rooms where people were doing $1 million a day. I didn't even know that was possible until I got into a room. And then you got, you know, you invest this amount and then you get into these conversations and the guy said, yeah, yesterday we did $4 million.